CVM Television.
Jamaica, make we do the right thing. Make we live good today for a better tomorrow. Talk it out. Don't fight it out. The time by the Ministry of National Security is
6:30.
The Prime Minister has coined a new phrase, PNP ISM, and he says what it basically means is that the opposition party is embracing criminality as it looks to gain advantage at the next general election. The opposition leader, Mark Golding, has hit back, saying all the Prime Minister is seeking to do is blame the opposition for its failure where the management of crime is concerned. We'll hear the perspectives expressed by both men, and we'll also look at the latest crime statistics presented by the police in a submission to Cabinet earlier this week. This is Lead Story on this Thursday. Let's start the show. Welcome to Lead Story here on CVM TV on this Thursday. So, the Prime Minister, Andrew Holness, was in southeast Clarendon on the weekend in the constituency of Pernell Charles Jr., the Minister of Labour and Social Security. And he spoke to Labourites, constituents and others from outside the constituency about the state of the country. He touched on the issue of crime and what his government is doing where managing the economy is concerned, the usual themes touched by the Prime Minister. But he went in on the opposition PNP, saying that there is this thing, according to him, that is developing within the PNP, and he has given it a designation. He's called it PNP ISM. He says what it is that the opposition finds comfort in embracing criminality, because in so doing, he says the PNP is just looking to get an advantage ahead of the next general election. He says that where issues in the country concerning crime, are concerned. That's a bad sentence, George, but the meaning is communicated. Regarding issues concerning crime, the PNP goes out of its way to embrace those who go against what society expects where laws and morals are concerned. And he says they're doing this to curry favor with certain groups, all in the name of vote getting ahead of the next election. And he says this is PNP-ism. Let's hear how the Prime Minister articulated that point to the Labourites present in southeast Clarendon on Sunday.
Crime is trending downwards, but concerns linger for national security in some Manchester communities. JLP leader Andrew Holness says the upsurge in crime, though seemingly sudden, was gradual.
It happened as a result of the introduction of PNP-ism into the culture of Jamaica. A breakdown of all systems, values, and respect for authority and institutions. That is PNP-ism.
He chided opposition members who Holness claims defend criminal activity and says the GOJ has no tolerance for criminals.
While they were busy trying to fight the state of public emergency, we were busy investing in our national security apparatus. We, as a government, will never give any form of protection, succor, coverage to any criminal or criminal behavior.
That was in Mandeville at the JLP's Manchester Central Constituency Conference on Sunday.
Right. So, correctly, he was in the constituency of Rodamoy Crawford in central Manchester on the weekend. That was not what he said in southeast. Well, that was not the southeast Clarendon event that I referenced at the start, rather central Manchester. So essentially he's saying that, look, yes, criminality and the kind of criminality that has seen the police impose significant measures on nightlife, well, significant measures affecting nightlife and commercial activity in Manchester, especially Mandeville, and the other prominent towns in Manchester, those measures were due to the kind of criminality in the parish that have caused a spike in murders since the start of the year. And he says the fact that the PNP is not in support of the measures, he referenced a comment from the mayor of Mandeville, the man who chairs the Manchester Municipal Corporation, Donovan Mitchell, that nothing is wrong with unexplained wealth. That was the point on which the Prime Minister's argument germinated to suggest that the PNP is embracing criminality. Not just that statement, but that statement was what drove him to say what he said in Manchester on Sunday. And he says that it's what he's calling PNP ISM, the embrace of criminality in search of a political advantage. Now, the opposition leader, Mark Golding, he responded to that to effectively tell the Prime Minister that, look, no, you are seeking to blame the PNP for the failings of your party, your administration, to effectively manage the issues concerning crime. We're going to get Mark Golding's reaction after this break. So let's take the break, and when we come back, we hear the opposition leader responding to the Prime Minister's charge and label, designation, PNPism, seeking political advantage through the embracing of criminality.
Challenges are everywhere and things are constantly changing, but independent living remains the same. Rising above physical challenges, we can help you do it. For years, we have been Jamaica's trusted provider for solutions to improve patient care, safety, and general quality of life. No matter your age or your physical limitation, we are the caring store, waiting to serve you. It's time to experience independent living. Visit us today.
That's me on the corner. People don't bother feel like you can predict who is going to be in the shop with me. A ship carry you back again. Controversial. How old were you?
8 years old.
Now we're contemplating. These are the digits.
Oh.
What kind of episode this one? Another junction in life.
I have 2 left foot then, sir.
Yeah, you know. Yeah, man. See the backline of Nigeria now. This is my show, and you will not drop word from me.
They even know them things.
DJ, I can't say that no. You're going to mash up some house.
You know, say barber shop is really there ready to make your cut.
So, what you cut before? The cut, okay.
Now I'm where I want to be.
The Cut is brought to you by Flow.
Welcome back to Lead Story here on CVM TV. We're searching for the insert from the opposition leader, still trying to find that. But effectively, he was saying that the JLP has been using states of emergency, abusing the use of states of emergency. He says in many instances, it's a line he has said before, it represents an abuse of, a violation rather, of individuals' constitutional rights, the way the states of public emergency have been used. And he says beyond that, the government has no answer to the crimes that are rampant in the society and that are causing so much distress for Jamaicans. He says, look, a government that is in the business of blaming the opposition for the problems in the society is a government that is under pressure. And he has recast the Prime Minister's statements to suggest that the JLP, feeling the pressure of public sentiment about their failure where crime is concerned, he says that's the reason, that's the motivation for Mr. Holness's claim that PNPism, the embrace of criminality, is being used by the opposition party as a means to secure votes ahead of the next election. He says that's a statement from a government under pressure. So, the National Security Minister, Dr. Horace Chang, he was at the post-cabinet media briefing on Wednesday. Yes, on Wednesday. That was yesterday morning. And he presented some findings based on data given to Cabinet in a presentation earlier this week by the Police High Command. And the word was that murders are down significantly this year compared to last year. For the period January 1 to November 4 this year, murders showing a significant decline comparison-wise. He also spoke about the number of illegal guns that the police would have seized this year, 667 guns between January 1 and November 4. He spoke to the number of gangs that have been infiltrated, the number of gangsters who are before the courts awaiting trial or in the process of being tried. He also spoke to the number of women who have been arrested as part of anti-gang efforts. We have those numbers here, and we're going to give them to you. So let's take another break, and when we come back, I'll share those numbers with you. This is Lead Story on CVM TV.
No more fear of missing out. CVM TV News is on YouTube. Get up-to-date news, sports, and business content at CVM TV News anytime, anywhere. Subscribe now to CVM TV News to see it happen.
Welcome back to Lead Story here on CVM TV. Now, the National Security Minister, Dr. Horace Chang, reported to the press on Wednesday that the total number of murders recorded so far this year has declined by 19% when compared to the number of murders recorded between January 1 and November 4, 2023. For this year, 19%. It's fallen by 19%. That represents, he said, 233 persons fewer killed over the period. Additionally, shootings have been reduced by 9%. Now, this is significant. I mean, one life is significant enough. If it were one less person or one fewer, the homicide numbers, it would be something to report. But he's saying 233 and 19% reduction. That is not cause for champagne to be bought and popped and consumed. No reason for you to imbibe in any beverage. What is true is that things appear to be heading in the right direction, because for several consecutive months, we've had a reduction in the murder numbers month over month. And he's saying that cumulatively, January 1 to November 4, that 11-month period, well, not quite fully 11 months yet, 26 days shy of 11 months fully. But over that period, 233 fewer people have been killed, a 19% reduction. That is reason for optimism. It is reason to believe that the police are doing something right. 9% decline in shooting incidents also. I've always felt that, well, the police have a handle on shooting when they can take guns out of the hands of criminals. But and if you put bad actors behind bars, then there'll be less bad men to be engaged in shootings. So the 9% reduction in shootings is to be welcome. But in my mind, it is, well, it's not a lesser statistic, but there are things that are more significant to report than that. Rape, we're talking about major crimes now. So murders down 19%, 233 fewer people killed this year. Rape, that is down by 28% the decline in rape, and incidents of robbery down by 21%. I'm being told that we have the Minister of National Security, Dr. Horace Chang, with us. Good evening, Dr. Chang. Well, we're up on the 6:45 break, so it is needful to take the break right now and come back with the... Well, I'm being told that we don't have him on the line. We have a clip of him. That's fine. Let's take that, though, after this break and for the 6:45 time signal.
Is on YouTube. Get up-to-date news, sports, and business content at CVM TV News anytime, anywhere. Subscribe now to CVM TV News to see it happen. The time by Grace. Taste that moves you is
6:45.
Hi everyone, my name is Kurt Dunn.
Greetings from Kali's Kelly Yoga.
Hey, it's Travin Morrison, and I am your National Physical Activity Specialist. And it's time to make a move.
Jamaica, let's get moving again. Season 2 of the Ministry of Health and Wellness Jamaica Move series is here. Join us Wednesdays at 5 a.m. and Saturdays at 8 a.m. right here on CVM TV. Let's get moving.
Make a move now.
Find Central Pitside, brought to you by Edgechem, AIM Financial Corporation, Texaco, and Connex.
Back with me on Lead Story here on CVM TV. We will be hearing from the National Security Minister in that address to the media, that briefing at post-cabinet on Wednesday morning. Recall that the numbers that he will be presenting and that I've shared from were presented to cabinet by members of the Police High Command who attended upon the cabinet meeting, the weekly cabinet meeting on Monday morning. Those numbers roll into a report which Dr. Chang presented on Wednesday. Let's hear from him.
January 1 to November 4, 2024 reflects a significant reduction in criminal activity compared to the same period in 2023. There has been an overall reduction in major crimes by 15%, with key categories showing marked improvement. And the last quarter, the quarter we are coming out of, August, September, October, has traditionally been the highest quarter for the year. Traditionally, and the August, September, October 2024 has been the lowest 3 months for the last 5 years. I emphasize that because it reflects the introduction of new strategies by Commissioner Kevin Blake and the team of officers leading the police force today. The total number of murders recorded has fallen by 19%. That is 233 fewer persons killed this year. Additionally, shootings have seen a reduction of 9%. The guns are still there. We're taking steps to get them off the road. In terms of rapes, there has been a notable decline of 28%. Robbery incidents decreased by 21%. When we look at the divisions that are usually problematic, we have seen even more significant decreases. Indeed, the police indicated that they're going to focus on the 5 critical divisions that literally causes about nearly 50% of the murders in the country on an annualized basis. They are down by some 22% at this point in time. They involve St. James, which is down by 32%, Westmoreland down by 12%, Clarendon down by 39%, Kingston West is down by 30%. They would take note of those 3, St. James, Clarendon, and West Kingston, have areas that hit the emotions and the ears of our people very quickly. There have been dramatic reduction there by virtue of the increased police activity and deployment and intelligence work in these areas. and of course St. Andrew South, which is down by 14%.
What you didn't hear in that clip from the National Security Minister was that St. Catherine North, usually a problem point for police personnel, down, murders in that division down by 22%, which is very, very significant in the context of things. So as I said, no reason to pop the bubbly. Things are being nudged in the right direction. As I said, and as I have said, it's a game of incrementalism, this fight against crime. You won't reverse the high numbers we've had year over year just like that. You have to put things in place, and you have to give those things time to work. And it's a delicate balancing act at times, because there can be just one incident to shake the confidence of the public in the work of the police, to affect police morale, to cause the channels that the police use to gather intelligence, to cause those channels to not be transmitting clear messages. There are several things in the environment in which we work that can affect the harmonized workings of the various processes and the systems, and how those things work for the people who are managing them. Those things can cause the improvements to be knocked off track. So it's a very delicate balancing act, but we're seeing incremental improvement. I want to draw attention to the fact that Dr. Chang reported that at this point last year, between January 1 and November 4, there were 78 incidents of double murders, 78 incidents in which 2 people killed, 78 incidents in 2023 in the review period. So far this year, there have been 40 such incidents. Now, in the 78 double murders last year, clearly 78 times 2 is 156. So 156 people killed in 78 double murder incidents last year. So far this year, there have been 40, which of course would mean that 80 people have been killed in those incidents. It's a significant reduction, the number of double murders. Beyond double murders, triple murders. There were 14 triple murders last year. So far this year, there have been 6. 14 triple murders last year. So far this year, there have been 6. And the police say that quadruple murders have been halved. The number of quadruple murders have been cut in half from 4 incidents last year to 2 this year. What about gangs? The police are reporting that the 230 persons have been identified as members of gang. 90 of that 230 are wanted for murders and other major crimes. Now here's where I was going about the number of guns. The police say between January 1 and November 4, they took 667 guns off the streets. 667. Why is that number significant? I'll tell you why that number is significant. Because of that 667, 383 of the guns were taken off individuals arrested by the police. So men, and in some cases women, arrested by the police, held by the police during operations, a gun was taken off them in 383 of the 667. Not 383 instances necessarily, but 383 of the 667 guns taken off the street so far were taken directly off an individual, which means that the remaining 284 were recovered by the police in instances where no one was arrested. So the police would get a tip, go to a location, find guns there. No one was at the premises at the time, or those at the premises, the police were sufficiently satisfied that they knew nothing about the guns at the premises. So 284 guns were found in those circumstances. But significantly for me, the 383 taken directly off persons arrested by the police, that is a mark of success. The fact of the matter is that where we're headed is the right direction again. We're not where we can be comfortable, and there are far too many people murdered in this country. The perception of crime is as high as it was last year when the numbers were significantly higher in terms of major crimes. So that's going to be something that's going to be difficult for the police to change. The high perception of crime, the perception that we're living in a high crime society, many people see and hear things happening around them, and so they do not feel safer now. Because if you were to ask the question, if a pollster were to go to the field and say, do you feel safer in today's Jamaica than you did last year or the year before, the answer will be no, despite these positive numbers. So what am I saying? Here's my take. The police have done well. Things are moving in the right direction. Incrementalism needs resources to support the direction that things are going. Incrementalism needs the right people in the right position. Incrementalism, where the police is concerned, needs the right decisions being made by the police high command. Incrementalism needs the rank and file members of the force to remain motivated. Incrementalism needs the citizenry to walk in lockstep with the police. The informer culture poison must be thrown at the root of the informer for dead culture, and it must wither and die. Incrementalism needs that to happen post-haste, and incrementalism needs to have an approach to crime fighting that the whole nation can feel a part of, can feel a stakeholder of. That is how you're going to get the big changes that will deliver a better Jamaica. Now, there are some people who will hear these numbers and dismiss them. That's good for them. For you, I'm talking to you, the sensible Jamaican. If you're living in a country where crime doesn't select whether you're PNP or JLP or you're independent, whether you're old, young, you're an uptownist, you're living in the ghetto, you're a countryman, you're a countrywoman. The fact is, crime is impartial. It affects every single one of us, all of us. The bullet won't stop because you're a Labourite. The bullet won't stop because you're a PNP. The fact is, had these numbers gone in the opposite direction, there'd be a hue and cry. There'd be gnashing of teeth. There'd be calls for the head of the police commissioner, calls for the head of the national security minister, calls for the head of the prime minister. The fact is that the numbers are going in the right direction. Doesn't mean that we should lionize these individuals who are in these critical positions. It means that we should do what we can to support the work that they do. We are at a critical point. A lot of investment has been made in the Jamaica Constabulary Force over time. Billions of dollars have been pumped into increasing and improving the technical capabilities of the police, the technological capabilities of the police, of course, which is different from the technical. A lot has gone into improving the morale in the force. A lot has gone into making the force more mobile, even as people call for more mobility. I just saw a press release from the junior spokesperson on national security, Giovanni Byfield, out there in Gale, the Gale division, the councillor, who was asked for greater resources to be given to the police in St. Mary so they can increase their mobility. So that is happening at the same time. But still, we can't deny that the police far more mobile now than they've ever been in their history. This needs to continue, and we need to support it if we believe in Project Jamaica, whomever is in charge, PNP, JLP, whichever. We need to live in a country where we can feel safe. That's my time. I break now from lead story until Friday, 6:30 p.m. Nico Lewis is standing by with the news at 7.
Fan Central Pitside, brought to you by HChem, AIM Financial Corporation, Texaco, and Connex.
Tell me something that makes a bubble bath even more enjoyable.
How about some toys?
All new Family Feud.
Brought to you by...
We are the Caring Store, waiting to serve you. It's time to experience independent living. Visit us today.
I say that no. You're gonna mash up some house. I say that no. You're gonna mash up some house.
You know, say barber shop is really there ready to make your cut.
So, where you cut before? The cut, okay.
Now I'm where I wanna be.
The Cut is brought to you by Flow.
Small business owners and independent contractors get affordable insurance with Sagicor Pro Shield. The time by Sagicor Life is
7 o'clock. CVM News at 7 Headlines Thursday, brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure, live easy.
Tonight in CVM News at 7. Deadly disputes in Westmoreland spark renewed plea for peace. Prime Minister Holness's IC challenge heard in Supreme Court. Dalrymple Philibert provides update on IC court matter. Also this evening, government thanks Don Webby for service in Senate. In the business report, Wigton Energy charged up over diversity of utility delivery. While in sports, Windies hammer England in ODI Series decider.
From Kingston, Jamaica, this is CVM News at 7. It's Thursday, November 7, 2024. Thanks so much for joining us. Some Westmoreland communities are grappling with the aftermath of two tragic incidents that have once again highlighted the high stakes of unresolved conflicts. As one medical professional calls for a deeper look into conflict resolution, these cases serve as stark reminders of the consequences when tensions escalate. Ramon Gordon has this story.
Two tragic incidents have left Westmoreland communities reeling, raising questions about conflict resolution and the underlying issues that can lead to fatal outcomes. In Truro District, a 29-year-old woman, Sidney Martin, has died after an alleged machete attack. Police report that the accused, 42-year-old Dwayne Anglin, now faces a murder charge in connection with the death. According to reports, the incident occurred around 3:30 a.m. on Sunday, when Martin reportedly became intoxicated and began tossing stones at Anglin's car. Anglin gave chase, inflicting multiple chop wounds to Martin's upper body. In a separate incident, a 25-year-old woman has also been charged with murder following a deadly altercation with her partner in Frome. Safia Peart is accused of fatally stabbing her 23-year-old boyfriend Dino Kangul during a fight over alleged infidelity. Both reportedly wielded knives during the confrontation last Tuesday, but only Kangul's injuries proved fatal. The government recently reported a significant reduction in major crimes in Jamaica since the start of the year, with murders down by 19%. However, one medical professional maintains the cost of violent crimes remains too high.
The burden of violence on the healthcare system is absolutely outrageous. One study actually quantified it as costing Jamaicans over $8.6 billion to treat violence-related incidents. And so it definitely is something that we have to cauterize as soon as possible, because these monies that are spent on treating patients who are victims of violence could definitely be used otherwise.
Both victims in our story, each under 30, died after conflicts escalated beyond resolution. It's why Dr. Brewster is urging a rethink of conflict resolution locally.
We have to start with our schools. I think violence has been ingrained in us from very young. Something as simple as minor conflicts in the classroom that we have seen ends up, in some cases resulting in stabbings and stuff that result in death. So we have to recondition our children in terms of how they deal with conflicts. Small things become big things. Today it's fighting over a lollipop and slapping someone or hitting someone in the head, causing a bruise. Tomorrow it's fighting over land and people are dead.
And beyond that, there's a call for cooler tempers.
You have to be reasonable and choose your battles. My mother always say, choose your battles, Stefan. Choose your battles. And so you think about the consequences and you recognize that sometimes and most times it just isn't worth it. And the most mature and sensible thing to do is to walk away.
Ramon Gordon for CVM News.
The first hearing regarding Prime Minister Andrew Holness's legal challenge against the Integrity Commission was heard in the Supreme Court today. This case arises from a report released by the IC that scrutinizes Holness's financial affairs and questions his compliance with statutory declarations. The report, which spans 171 pages, was tabled in Parliament on September 17, 2024. Holness is seeking judicial review of the IC's investigation and its findings. He claims that the report is flawed and unfairly suggests unethical conduct on his part. Specifically, he aims to invalidate the report, terminate all investigations into his financial dealings, and challenge certain provisions of the Integrity Commission Act, as well as sections of the Corruption Prevention Act that pertain to illicit enrichment. His legal team has outlined approximately 30 points for judicial review. Holness is represented by King's Counsel Georgia Gibson Henlin from Henlin Gibson Henlin Law Firm. On the other side, King's Counsel Michael Hilton represents the Integrity Commission and its officials. The respondents include 2 senior executives from the Commission, Director of Information and Complaints Craig Beresford and Director of Investigations Kevin Stevenson. The matter continues. Nomination day in Trelawney Southern proved an opportunity to clear the air for the embattled former House Speaker and former Member of Parliament Marissa Dalrymple Philibert. This as she offered insights into her resignation and provided updates on the Integrity Commission matter that's now before the courts. Just over a year since her resignation from the post of Speaker of the House of Parliament and as Member of Parliament for South Trelawney, Marissa Dalrymple Philibert has officially clarified her decision. This as she encountered a sea of supporters and journalists on nomination day in Albertown, just outside the constituency office she occupied for 17 years.
I resigned because at the time, the Integrity Commission recommended that I be criminally charged. I felt, and I still do, that it was the responsible thing for me to have done at that time. There was no law that said I had to resign. There was nobody forcing me to resign. In fact, several members of my own party team asked me not to consider resignation. But I always say that I have to be guided by my own conscience. When I get into my bed at nights, I must be able to sleep comfortably.
It's also the first time most people were hearing of the progress of the court matter.
I have placed my hands into the courts. The court system is a system that I respect and I believe in. And we have made submissions. And we are now awaiting a ruling. And when I saw, and I've heard every single day, calls and the cries from people of South Trelawney. And when I resigned, I never put my car or took a call from anybody here until the recent parish council municipal elections were called. The parish council elections were called. That was the first time this year that I put my car back up into South Trelawney.
Meantime, the attorney points out it was the resounding calls for her return and outpouring of support that prompted her candidacy.
The love and the support I got from South Trelawney was overwhelming. We went in with 4 divisions and with 3 divisions and came out with 4. And every time I met with the workers, every time we had a gathering, they said, "Mama, you're coming back? You're coming back?" And I always said, I never said I was coming. My mind was not there. I said, give me the parish council elections. And I was overwhelmed because we took all 4 parish council elections. And the same conscience that took me and brought me to a point where I resigned is the same conscience now that tells me I must return to my family in South Trelawney and serve them.
She reminds every election since securing the seat for the Jamaica Labour Party nearly 2 decades ago has seen her margin of victory increase. Following news of Senator Donald Webby's resignation from the Senate, the government expressed gratitude to the member who has offered years of service in the House of Parliament. He served in the Upper House in 2007 and in the Ministry of Finance and Public Service for 2 years. Today, Prime Minister Andrew Holness lauded the senator for his contribution to the Senate, stating that, quote, Senator Webby has been a steadfast advocate for the needs of the Jamaican people, bringing invaluable commercial and entrepreneurial insights into the legislative process. Though grateful for the senator's work, the Prime Minister expressed the government's sadness in his departure and wished him a speedy recovery. Webby resigned on Thursday to focus on health-related matters. Director of Elections Glaspall Brown says the Electoral Commission of Jamaica ECJ is awaiting budgetary approval for the pending by-elections to be held on November 22. He told the media the commission is ready and equipped to tackle the election day activities following a successful nomination day. When nomination day activities ended November 6, Director of Elections Glaspall Brown hailed it a seamless success.
But Trelawney South, you have two persons, one independent and one representing the Jamaica Labour Party. In St. Andrew Northwest, you have two independent and one from the Jamaica Labour Party. In terms of the municipalities, for Morante, there are two candidates, one for representing the Jamaica Labour Party, one representing the People's National Party. In the Indian Town Division in Clarendon, you have two candidates, one representing the Jamaica Labour Party and one representing the People's National Party. So all four locations will have election on the 22nd of November.
When the media caught up with him in Clarendon, he countered suggestions that Tropical Storm Raphael's passage might have impacted the Commission's preparation for the nomination activities. Brown reiterated the ECJ's readiness for the by-elections 2 weeks away.
We have started our preparation. Now we're going to the final phase. Now that the nomination is over, we now begin to do our preparation, begin to print the ballots, begin to train our persons, and begin to do everything that needs to be done, that we are ready for the 22nd of November.
He assures there is little to no pressure on him and his team as they host several by-elections shortly before an expected general election, adding preparation is key. Logistically, he says nomination day and election day are covered.
At each location, you have the RO, the assistant RO, and also an officer from the office. And that's so that will be at 4 different locations. But the election itself, we look into recruit close to a little bit in excess of 1,000 persons. That assists us in the 4 different locations in terms of having elections.
All right. I know you say you have everything intact. Can you speak to any impediment where budgetary allocations are concerned?
Well, we have submitted our budget. Our budget is now with the Ministry of Finance.
The opposition People's National Party has opted out of the 2 constituency by-elections, only contesting the 2 divisional ones. There's more to come from CVM News at 7 after this break.
CVM News at 7 Headlines Thursday, brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure, live easy.
Jamaica Food and Drink Festival's Meat Street and the Market is back in partnership with the Port Authority of Jamaica. Saturday, November 9, 3 to 10 p.m. at the historic Naval Dockyard in Port Royal, Kingston. Food trucks, restaurants, and chefs galore. Enjoy CB pan chicken, Helsha style fish, gourmet pastas, veggie delights, street eats, and so much more. Guided tours, live entertainment, and kids zone. Park and ride with JUTC. Meat Street and the Market. Saturday, November 9. Adults 2,000, children under 10 free. Tickets at JA Food and Drink Kitchen on Cork's Constant Spring, Candy Craze Waterloo, CPJ Market, and Geno's Pharmacy Portmore. Pay with Visa or buy online at jafoodanddrink.com.
Oreo and Coca-Cola just became besties. Taste the new limited editions while they last.
Improving our relationship with you.
The Passport Immigration and Citizenship Agency, PICA, is improving its relationship with you, our valued customer. Our new customer relationship management system will help us to better understand your needs, communicate with you, and address your issues faster. Contact us online and let us help you. The new system is a joint project of PICA and the Transformation Implementation Unit.
Improving our relationship.
Building a better public sector for all.
Thanks for staying with us. The People's National Party caretaker in Western Westmoreland is calling on the government to do more to address chronic flooding during the island's hurricane season. Britannia Witter has that story.
Tropical storm Raphael produced flash flooding in flood-prone areas island-wide on Tuesday before making a sudden departure up north. Several sections of Westmoreland, including the Negril area, were severely affected by the passage of the tropical storm. Speaking to CVM News, PNP caretaker Ian Hales emphasized the urgent need for drain cleaning in regions heavily reliant on tourism.
Let it be known that Negril is the mecca for tourism in Jamaica land we love. And yet, the amount of tourism dollars that Negril brings to Jamaica, Negril does not even get back a quarter of it. Now imagine, the rainy season is upon us. Every year we have rainy season. Yet the drains are not cleaned. The central government drains are not cleaned, which is run on the main road in Negril.
A seemingly passionate Hales called on the government and the Member of Parliament for Western Westmoreland to do more to prevent incidents of severe flooding.
Now I'm calling on the government. I'm calling on the Member of Parliament and government that start taking the people of Negril, the business of the people of Negril, serious. Enough is enough. It can't continue the way it has been going. The people of Negril wants to see action. It can't be that is when the flood come, you start reacting in terms of saying you need to clean the drains.
Meanwhile, Member of Parliament for Western Westmoreland, Moreland Wilson, was in the McNeil land community in the Little London division during Tropical Storm Raphael, rendering assistance.
The soil has been saturated and almost 90% of the community is underwater. The Ministry of Labour is responding. They are currently in Negril, helping those who were flooded out yesterday. And we asked them to get into the McNeil land community to see what assistance they can lend.
Hales also raised concerns about the government's alleged delay in addressing what he described as a flood-prone area, citing the residents of Negril are taxpayers too. Britannia Witter, CVM News.
Still out west, plans to construct an international airport in Negril have brought mixed reactions. Political representatives shared their views on these measures to develop the tourist hotspot. Adrian Williams tells us more.
Plans to develop Negril are on the table with an international airport in the mix. Member of Parliament for Westmoreland Western, Moreland Wilson, endorses the move to build the airport, but indicates that the government has a bigger plan for the parish.
It is not just an airport we're thinking about. The government has a comprehensive policy to develop the entire landscape of Negril. So we are looking at an airport, we're looking at a new town centre, we are even looking at a cruise ship pier for Negril. So I welcome this development. It is something that Westmoreland and the Western Hemisphere hasn't seen in many years. And it goes to show the visionary leadership of our Prime Minister. And I'm 100% on board for this international airport.
Met with much opposition is People's National Party, PNP's caretaker for Westmoreland Western, Ian Hales, who says this is just a setup for another failed institution leading to divestment.
One is we were running Sangsters International Airport and the government was losing billions, so we divested Sangsters International Airport. We then went on to Norman Manley International Airport, where government was also losing billions in terms of revenue, and we divested Norman Manley International Airport also. We then went and we tried an experiment with Baskerville Airport that is losing millions now also. And at some point, it's going to be divested also.
He says the government needs to do away with the empty promises, as the locals and business operators all have one main issue.
The number one issue that we face here is water. We need water. The big hotel needs water, the small hotel needs water, and the citizens and residents of Negril and the Westmoreland environment needs water. That's priority number one. Priority number two is the infrastructure in terms of the road network. You can't go to an airport if you don't have road to drive on.
But just what benefits do the government see the airport bringing to the people of Negril?
We'll see ease of transport into Negril. We'll see residents having greater access to international airport. We'll also see a reduce in the traffic that is going into Sangsters International, and there'll be a corresponding reduction in the amount of persons traversing from Negril into Montego Bay to catch their flight out of Jamaica.
Hales, however, is calling the announcements a political ploy.
A couple of months ago, you came and you said, look, we're going to give you water. We have found the money to bring the water from Roaring River into Negril at a cost of over $200 million US. So it is promises after promises. This is a government of promises. Nothing more you're going to get from them. The election season, our cycle is about to start, and it is promises after promises. Give us the people of Negril and Westmoreland. Give us water, give us road, don't give us any more promises.
Adrian Williams reporting for CVM News.
We take a break. Stay with us.
Illness strike? Don't let worry fill your head. Say hello to happiness and goodbye to worry with Guardian Life's new Ultimate Provider Plan. Secure your medical expenses in the event of critical illness ahead of time while benefiting from our investment portfolio and so much more. Give yourself and your family the peace of mind you deserve with Guardian Life's new Ultimate Provider Plan today, and live secure. Live easy.
Embrace the mix.
Embrace the mix. Embrace the mix.
Campari Red Passion. Embrace the mix. Must be 18 years or older to drink. Drink responsibly.
The Black Friday discounts continue this weekend at Courts. Shop on November 8 to 10 and get 30% off select mattresses and small appliances, 25% off dining sets, 20% off all laptops and 30-inch stoves and fridges, and 15% off all smartphones and 65 to 75-inch smart TVs. It's Black Friday weekend at Courts, November 8 to 10. Courts, bringing value home. Conditions apply.
Welcome back. It's now time for the Business Report with Joel Crosskill.
Lots to share with you in the business report today. Emerging from the recent Maybury investor briefing that saw the entity formerly known as Wigton Wind Farm, currently trading under the name Wigton Energy, provide transparency on the current aspirations of the company while updating the public on a performance for the 6 months ended September 30 that saw income increase to $1 billion. CEO of Wigton Wind Farm Limited, Gary Barrow, identified the propellants behind the performance.
As you know, wind is our primary source of revenue, and the wind regime for the first quarter has been really good, much better than it was last year. So in the first quarter up to June 2024, we had a 24.4% increase in wind over the previous year. And overall, for the first 6 months against the same period last year, we have about a 16% improvement in the wind. And that's the major source of our revenue.
During the period, much of Jamaica suffered through the passage of Beryl and Raphael. And according to Barrow, the BR is not being quixotic by wondering how the company perceives the high winds associated with the passage of storms, and if it actually helps increase energy generation.
We're very pleased. We had one trip on one of the transmission lines, but that was momentarily, and we're able to bring back the turbines very quickly online. Of course, you can imagine that the passage Raphael was such that it was advantageous to us in this case, and we're able to get a lot of wind regime beyond what we would have planned. As far as post-burial is concerned, we did have some damage, particularly on the older turbines, which would be the Wigton 1, phase 1 turbines. And we worked with the suppliers, we worked with, our team at Rosehill. I really have to give them a shout out. They worked throughout the night. We had some additional help that we brought in. And today we are just about back to where we were in terms of availability and production. We're at about 90% right now.
In addition to the challenges associated with the intensity when reaping the wind, the Wigton CEO must also contend with shifts in technology, which, if strategically positioned, have the potential to generate at even higher efficiencies.
Our approach is that we'd rather to be technology agnostic. Our primary objective is to get tariffs as low as possible using renewable energy. So, of course, we believe in clean, green energy. We believe in building a sustainable Jamaica, but doing so at a price that is lower than the conventional sources of energy. And we believe that there are various technologies that are available to achieve that objective now, have different price points. So we are looking at the various options that will allow for the lowest tariffs for our consumers.
With the objective of increasing Wigton 1's capacity by orders of magnitude upon completion of the project, the company is making a charge towards meeting the demands of additional markets at an even greater scale.
The way Wigton Energy has positioned itself, any of the new requests coming from the GPE for additional generation, we are going to be in there. We're going to be in there aggressively. Our intention is to continue to be the largest renewables company in Jamaica, and certainly we'll continue to be the largest wind facility in the Caribbean. And we want to double, triple that in terms of capacity and associated revenues.
And that was your business report. I'm Joel Crosskill.
We're up on another break, but lots more to come.
Sports ready cash will give to you. 10 hands for baking, 9 party tickets, 8 phones are ringing, 7 air fryers, 6 cash backs, 5 shopping sprees, 4 smart TVs, 3 100 grand, 2 200 grand, and a big check for 500 G. Take a Quartz Ready Cash loan of $55,000 or more between now and December 26th for a chance to win one of 55 amazing prizes. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act. Quartz Ready Cash, ready when you are. Conditions apply.
No more fear of missing out. CVM TV News is on YouTube. Get up-to-date news, sports, and business content at CVM TV News anytime, anywhere. Subscribe now to CVM TV News to see it happen.
Improving our relationship with you.
The Passport Immigration and Citizenship Agency, PICA, is improving its relationship with you, our valued customer. Our new customer relationship management system will help us to better understand your needs, communicate with you, and address your issues faster. Contact us online and let us help you. The new system is a joint project of PICA and the Transformation Implementation Unit.
Improving our relationship.
Building a better public sector for all.
KFC's popcorn chicken, now available in barbecue. KFC, it's finger licking good. The time by KFC is
7:30.
Welcome back. Let's take a look now at what's active on social media.
So what's trending in our local social media spaces? A chilling video is making waves on social media, capturing the moment a young girl suddenly sprints out of her yard and into the road, where a vehicle swerves just in time to avoid a devastating collision. The harrowing footage has left viewers stunned. Here are some of your thoughts. At Opulently Made says, I respect that he stopped and checked on them. At Michelle G39 adds, I hope she ain't yell at or hit the child cause they should have been more responsible. At Snow Blizzard posts, can't even blame the mother cause look how close the yard they to the road and look how much picnic in the yard. You turn your back for 2 seconds and stuff like this can happen. At Keisha Simone shares, bless the driver that he wasn't speeding, at least he stopped, praying for the best for that baby girl. At Chef Dekers comments, nobody can tell me say God wasn't underneath the van. At Zoe Graham writes, kids do the craziest things. You have to literally keep an eye on them at all times. And that's what's trending online today. Continue to share your thoughts with us on X at CVM TV and CVM_television on Instagram. I'm Trisha Gay Kelly.
We now go overseas with regional and international news.
We begin with news in the region. Cuba's entire population of 10 million people are without electricity for a second time in a month as high winds brought by Hurricane Rafael slammed into the island's southwest shore. The details from Reuters.
Cubans in the capital city Havana sheltered from violent gusts and rain, some struggling against the force of the winds.
It's a bit dangerous. I was crossing the street, and if I hadn't held on tight to this little piece here, it would have thrown me to the ground.
The U.S. National Hurricane Center warned of a life-threatening storm surge, damaging hurricane-force winds and flash flooding across much of western Cuba. The capital of 2 million people is especially vulnerable, with its densely packed homes and poor infrastructure. Schools, public transport and flights were suspended until further notice. Officials say they evacuated more than 100 Canadian tourists from a popular beach destination. Farm provinces producing Cuba's prized tobacco for hand-rolled cigars are expected to take a near-direct hit from the hurricane. And the timing could not be worse for the communist-run island. Just last month, it suffered another total collapse of its national electrical grid, which left the country without power for several days.
In Barbados, there are fresh concerns about Ponzi schemes, which Barbadians are reportedly throwing their money behind. Minister in the Ministry of Finance Ryan Strawn says while Barbadians and other Caribbean nationals are falling prey to these schemes, legitimate opportunities need to be created for them to make money. CBC News Barbados carries the report.
Too many of our citizens today are falling prey to Ponzi schemes and all types of online scams that bear absolutely no relation to anything that is happening in the real world.
Minister Strawn says to tackle the issue, policymakers, researchers, regulators, and the private sector entities in the region have to create real money-earning opportunities for citizens. He says this is necessary since citizens across the region can ill afford to lose hard-earned money on fickle online scams and schemes.
So that the hard-earned monies that our citizens